Hi, Angel here from mynexttablet.com. Today with an unboxing video of the brand new Samsung Galaxy Tab Active5, which is the 3-in-1. It's a tablet, a smartphone, and it even can be a desktop computer all in one device. Let's unbox this outdoor tablet. Alright, let's start with the unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Tab Active5, which is available pretty much everywhere in the world now. In the US, it starts at $549, and in Europe, you can get it starting at 479 euros. And we start this unboxing with unboxing it, of course. And inside the box, we have a plastic cover for the Active5 first, and it's a very soft kind of rubber that should protect it quite well. You can also see the S Pen, which has a slot at the top of this cover, and this S Pen is also quite rugged. This whole tablet is supposed to be a rugged outdoor tablet. And then we've got the tablet itself inside the box, and you can already see that it has a rugged kind of military style design. We are also getting a battery which is exchangeable. As you can see, it's separate here. You can change the battery yourself very easily without using any screws. Then we've got the standard paperwork, quick start guide, and the warranty card, as well as a charger and a USB Type-C to Type-A cable. And as usual, since I shot the first part of this video, a couple of hours have passed already, and I can give you my first impressions. I already run some benchmarks, played PUBG Mobile, and this obviously is not intended to be a gaming tablet, but we will test the performance of it for sure. I compared it a bit to the Galaxy Tab Active 3, which I still have, and I really liked this tablet when I reviewed it a couple of years ago. And I've got some other 8-inch tablets that I will hold it against in this video, and especially in the upcoming reviews and comparisons. We're starting with the design of the Galaxy Tab Active5, which looks like very rugged. It's an outdoor tablet. You can use it in factories, on construction sites, maybe even in the military. It certainly looks like it will be used in the military with this dark green finish. We have an 8-inch display here, very thick black bezels. We've got hardware buttons at the bottom, those three typical Android buttons that we usually only see as software buttons nowadays. And inside the home button, there's a fingerprint scanner integrated, which works really well, very fast, and it seems to be very precise. On the top here, we're getting a 5-megapixel camera, but also an earpiece, as you can see. If you get the 5G version, which I have, you can use it to make phone calls. You can hold it up against your ear, just like with a smartphone, and take a normal phone call. So that's quite nice. On the sides, we're getting the volume rocker, a power button, an action button. You can configure to open any app you want. On the bottom, we are getting a USB-C 2.0 port, which is a bit disappointing. I would have loved to see USB 3.1 port here, because it means you will not be able to connect external monitors with this port, which is a bit sad. We've got a standard headphone jack and one single speaker, which is pretty good. For one speaker, the sound is pretty good, but because it's just one speaker, it's not as good as entertainment tablets usually are. I mean, this is not an entertainment tablet. The sound comes from one side only, so you won't have any stereo separation, and the sound is fine, just not as good as with other tablets like the iPad mini or tablets that are intended to be for watching Netflix and so on, which this one is not. We get Pogo pins here for a charging dock. Here we've got a micro SD card slot and also a SIM card slot, since I have the LTE version. And on the top we've got nothing. On this side we've looked at it already, and on the back we've got a 13-megapixel camera and an LED flash below it. This seems to be plastic. I think the full body is made of plastic, and it's supposed to be very rugged, water resistant and dust resistant, and resistant against drops. We've got an IP68 certification here, a rating, so it's protected against water and dust. It has Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, and it has a certification of MIL STD 810H, which is supposed to make it very resistant, especially against drops. Apparently you can drop it without this rubber case from 1.5 meters and it should be fine. And with this rubber case, you should be able to drop it from 1.8 meters and it still should be fine. So that's quite rugged. Now let's open up the back here so we can take a look at the battery. It always feels to me a bit like I'm breaking it when taking off the back. That was the case with the predecessor as well, because it's held quite secure here, and it has to be quite tight because it also has to protect the battery from water, of course. And to protect the battery from water, we've got this lining here, as you can see. And here we've got the battery. You can exchange it. You can have a couple of batteries in your pocket. You can also use this tablet without a battery if you want. For instance, if you have it on the dashboard in your truck, you can take out the battery so that it's not in sunlight, and you can just keep it powered with the USB-C port. So that's quite nice. I won't take the battery out now because then I have to restart the tablet, but you can see me inserting it here in the video that's shown. So yeah, the battery is quite nice that it's interchangeable. It's one of very few devices these days where you can actually change the battery and have a couple of spare ones with you. I used to do that with the Galaxy Note series back when you could exchange the battery. I had a couple of spare batteries in my backpack, and that was quite nice. And you can do the same with this Active5. Although nowadays we've got pretty good power banks too, of course. So let's take a look at the display. We've got an 8-inch display here with a resolution of 1920 by 1200 pixels. So we've got full HD on an 8-inch display, which means the pixel density is quite high and text and icons look very sharp. Overall, this is a very nice display. It has great viewing angles. You can use it for watching Netflix just fine. It will look great on here. Like I said, the sound is a bit of a downside, but still pretty good for just one speaker. And I like that this display is very bright at 600 nits. And when we go to the display settings, you can see that it supports 120 Hz. You can choose between 60 Hz or adaptive, and when it's on adaptive, it will adjust the frequency up to 120 Hz, just like we see with high-end tablets like the Galaxy Tab S9 series, of course. So the display is a highlight, especially that it's 600 nits bright, which is as bright as the 11-inch iPad Pro, which is quite rare to see on Android devices. Now, so much about the screen. Let's check out this S Pen. The S Pen works exactly the same as with other S Pen tablets like the Galaxy Tab S9, S9 FE, Galaxy Tab S6 Lite or an S Pen smartphone. One thing is that the S Pen does not have any magnetic thing here to attach to. You can only put it inside this rubber case. But if you're getting a rugged tablet for outdoor use, for factory use, then you might want to use the case anyway, I'm guessing. Well, no matter what, this is the only place where you can store the pen, but it has a hole so you can put like a string to it and attach it somewhere, like to your keychain or something as well, if you want to. Software-wise, the S Pen works exactly the same as with other S Pen tablets. We get the standard air commands here. The Samsung Notes app is pre-installed and it works great. It's a great Notes app. Like, it's the best Notes app for Android for sure. Like, I like it really a lot, and the S Pen reacts very fast. It will be a great tablet for handwriting. Sure, it will be great for drawing too, although you might not get a rugged tablet for drawing. Well, maybe architects might. And yeah, the S Pen on a 120 Hz screen reacts very fast, and like I said, it's just exactly like with other S Pen tablets, so not much to say about it except that it seems to work really well and exactly the same. Now let's take a look at the internal hardware. Inside the Samsung Galaxy Tab Active5 sits an Exynos 1380 chipset, which is made by Samsung. We also get 6 or 8 GB of RAM and 128 or 256 GB of internal storage, and you can expand it with some microSD card, of course. If you want, you can get it with 5G, as I have, and all versions have GPS, which is also nice to see with an outdoor tablet. You can see my Geekbench 5 benchmark comparison here, and it's clear to see that it's more powerful than the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9, which is the latest 8-inch tablet from Samsung besides this Active5. And you can also see that the processing power is a bit better than with the Galaxy Tab Active5. However, the graphics performance of the predecessor, which is a couple of years old already, is better than of the new version. And you can see that the new Lenovo Legion Tab is more powerful and the Apple iPad mini is a lot more powerful as well, even though that one has been a couple of years old now. I played PUBG Mobile with the Galaxy Tab Active5 already. It's probably not intended to be a gaming tablet, but you can game on it of course, and it runs great with HDR settings only. You can set it to HD or HDR, but you cannot set it to Ultra HD, which is possible on the Lenovo Legion Tab and the iPad mini, and likely also on the Galaxy Tab Active5, because you've seen that the graphics performance of the predecessor just is much more powerful than on this Active5. Alright, let's take a look at software on the Samsung Galaxy Tab. Active5 runs Android 14, and let's quickly confirm that in the settings by going to software, and here you can see it's running Android 14. And what's really nice with this tablet is that Samsung wants to update it for 4 years. So it will get 4 years of big OS updates and up to 5 years of security updates, which is great. And Samsung proved it with the Galaxy Tab Active5. They kept this device up to date for quite a long time. And yeah, this was a really great tablet, and besides the graphics performance, this one seems to be a nice successor to it. I don't have that much to say about the software besides that it's running standard One UI 6 on top of Android 14, so it has all the standard Google apps pre-installed, all the standard Samsung apps are pre-installed, Microsoft apps pretty much the same as with all Samsung tablets. As I said earlier, it includes the Samsung Notes app and the S Pen app commands for the stylus. What's special with this one is that it does support Samsung DeX. Not all 8-inch tablets support that. The Galaxy Tab A9 does not. However, you cannot use Samsung DeX on this 8-inch screen. That was the case with the predecessor too, and Samsung just decided that you don't need a desktop mode on an 8-inch tablet usually. But if you connect it wirelessly, in this case to a TV or a monitor of any kind, then you will be able to use the DeX desktop mode, and I will test that for my final review of course, so subscribe to see that, because if it works great, we will have a 3-in-1 device here. It's an 8-inch tablet, a phone, and it could be a great desktop computer at the same time, which is very exciting if you want a 3-in-1 device. So much about the software and so much about my first impressions. They are pretty good. It seems to be a great successor to the Galaxy Tab Active5. The screen is nice and bright, has 120 Hz. The build quality is pretty nice. I mean, it looks quite old and quite special, but it is supposed to be very rugged, which is very unique. We get a great S Pen, an exchangeable battery, lots of great features. The only downside is that the graphics performance is not so good, especially compared to the predecessor, and this is not a cheap tablet, so I would wish the graphics performance would be better. Now, Samsung will probably say this is not a gaming tablet, and they're right, this is not a gaming tablet. So much about the Samsung Galaxy Tab Active5. If you want a great 8-inch tablet but you don't need a rugged design, then check out my review of the Lenovo Legion Tab Y700. That's a tablet out of China, that was just released in Europe and in other countries as the Lenovo Legion Tab. So for most people, this is a brand new tablet, and as my review showed, a pretty nice 8-inch gaming tablet.